I'm Amber Davies and welcome to Call to Stage. This is the space where musical theatre takes centre stage. From unforgettable backstage stories with incredible special guests to insights from my life and my theatre journey. We're leaving it all on the mic every single week, so let's jump in. Hi guys, and welcome back to Call to Stage with me, Amber Davies. Now, you guys know I'm a sucker for a Welshie. If they're Welsh, I want them on. She is the WhatsOnStage winner. It's our fabulous Lauren Drew.
Hello there.
I love a Welshie.
Oh, I'm very glad.
Don't we stick together?
We do, babes. Everywhere I go, though, it's so weird. There's always a Welsh connection. It's so strange, no matter where you go. Someone's like, oh, my uncle's Welsh. I'm like... It's always like the tiny towns like Port Talbot and stuff. Yeah. It's so random.
And I feel like if you're Welsh and you're in this industry, you've got a big, fat, great set of pipes on you. And that's one thing you have.
A big, great set of pipes. That's me.
Honestly, you know, if someone's got pipes, it's this one.
Oh, God. Oh.
Now, I ask this question to all my guests just to settle them in. Not that you need settling in, because we've done half an hour of chatting already.
I love a chat.
Pick any role you've ever played. Pre-show ritual.
Oh, okay. So I kind of do this with every role.
Okay.
But it really began with Catherine of Aragon. And before I went on, I always had to scream my highest note that I was going to sing. I had to do that before I went on stage. Is that something you do as well? Twinsies. Yeah, all the time.
Was it like the highest note of the show that you had to get out?
It was like that was coming like solely just from me. I'd have to make, so in my no way riff, I'd always have to do my no way riff. Like my 6 girls would watch this being like they used to rock in there. Yeah, it was just, but every single time without fail. Even Fantine did it. Always had to do like, always had to do that. And you let your foreman send me away.
Yeah.
Down the octave today.
It's only 3:10, darling.
Yeah, she hasn't had a 7th coffee of the day yet.
I love that. Okay, very similar then.
Yeah.
Just get it out.
Yeah,
you know it's there.
Then I know I've got it. And then I can be like, all right. But still get that little like, just as you're about to do it.
Just as you're about to do it. I know at the start of when I was playing Viv, I would do one note all the time. And Ollie Saville said to me, babe, you might only have that note in once. So why would you do it before the show?
I know, but I just have to do, I just have to know. I need to know that it's happened.
Yeah.
I need to get my larynx up there.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay.
She's there.
Yeah.
She's clean.
And then I'm happy.
Yeah. I love that. So, Mountview trained.
Yeah.
Graduated in 2016.
Yep.
I graduated the same year.
Oh my God, where did you go?
Erdan.
Oh my God.
When I saw that you were a 2016 grad, I thought, my gosh, we have more in common than we think.
That is wild. God, it's been a long time now. Isn't that, when you really think, how long has it been? Like,
oh, let's not talk about that.
That is so scary.
I don't think we need to bring that up. The grey hairs are saying
thank God for hair dye.
Yeah, put it like this. We didn't graduate yesterday.
No.
But it feels like...
I know.
Do you feel like it's gone so
but I feel like
quick?
I've blinked and all of a sudden it's like, how did we get you?
Mountview, why, how...
So I'm from a real small little working class town, and there wasn't an awful lot of, I'd say a lot of knowledge or, about drama schools and whatever. So I kind of, when I went to Neath College, they just gave me a load of booklets and they said, okay, these are the top drama schools. Have a look at these booklets. I'm like, God, as if this is actually something I can train in, I can do as a job. I still didn't really comprehend that was
register.
Yeah, that I couldn't really believe that it was something I could do and get paid for. So anyway, they showed us these booklets and I saw Mountview and I looked at all of the, everything that they kind of stand for and the main things they focus on. And I was a dancer already. And I was a bit like, well, the acting and the singing, I'd love to, because I've always sang and I've always loved acting, but I'd never really trained in it. And I knew that the training there was amazing for acting. So I was like, okay, that's probably my first choice. Then probably Art Ed and GSA. They were the only places I actually auditioned for in the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very, very acting, singing then.
Yeah, for sure. And then I turned up, but it was in Wood Green, and most people at that time, they'd go there and they'd be like, oh my God, this place is not for me. But I don't know what it was. It was just so like unapologetically like
hipster.
Yeah. And the people were all just, everyone was completely different. And it just really spoke to me. And I was like, I really want to come here. The teachers seemed amazing. And I don't know, I just got a vibe straight away.
Yeah, I think you'd get that.
Yeah.
You know when it's a fit for you and when it's not.
Yeah. I love the fact that no two people were the same.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Very like individual. I actually lived in Wood Green for 3 years.
So did I. Well, I lived just outside of it. When did you live there?
I lived there 2016 to 18.
Oh, so I was just before you, but I was around there, obviously, like from Mountview.
And I didn't hate it. People.
No, it's not that, but it's not. I mean, some, same as everywhere. Like there are some sketchy parts. You've just got to be extra vigilant. But
the sketchy parts of Mayfair. Do you know what I mean? There's
exactly
everywhere.
Yeah, as long as you find like your little safe haven and you keep your wits about you and stuff, and like everywhere,
because it's moved now
decent.
to
Peckham, yeah. I've not been to the school yet, but I've heard it's amazing.
Yeah, Ben actually took me on a bike ride past there because my Ben Joyce trained at Mountview.
Oh
he
yes, I forgot that as well.
But
I think they've got like a rooftop like bar thing or something. I think I've been told. I'm like, I need to go visit.
Interesting. Have you been back there since?
Never. Not to Peckham. No. Maybe
not
we should go.
Shall we?
Yeah, for a little drinky wink.
All right then. We'll plan that after this then.
Sesh.
Now, I'm just going to name a couple of things that you've done and then we'll delve into it. So I probably aren't going to name everything. I just put down the things that got to me. Mm-hmm. So your stage debut was the tour of Ghost.
Yes.
One of my favourite musicals.
Yes. So the version I did, I mean, was a bit different to like the amazing,
Did you do Bill Kenwright?
I did, yeah. And this was the first time I'd ever went out on that tour. So I had the best time. I went on tour with my best mate at the end of the day. Me and Simbi, we trained together for 3 years in Mountview, and then we both booked that job. So that was amazing. But we kind of did Ghost without the illusions and stuff, which was a bit of like a shame. But in the same, to be fair, the performers were great. Like especially like us bunch. We did the best we could with it. We had a really good time on the show, and I love the score.
The score.
It's like it's just my favourite score. I think Molly, going on for Molly, was still to this day, one of the best things ever.
You've done.
Yeah.
Highlight career.
But a really funny story about. So we had a real cut show one day. It was my first ever job. And they were like, right, we have no female ensemble. And we need someone to do Mrs. Santiago. But I was already on as Molly. So I was like, oh, all right. They went, will you do it? I was like, what do you mean? I said, what, do Mrs. Santiago instead of Molly? They were like, no, as in both. I was like, right. So I was like, okay, fine. Now, I mean, it's just insane really that happened. But yeah. I was playing Molly. I ran off stage, got dressed as an old woman, went on and did the scene with the like Autumn A. Brown's place, sang that big note, ran off, ripped the old lady wig off, came straight back on and sang, I picked up your shirts this morning.
You are kidding me.
Yeah, I would think twice about accepting to do something like that now.
Oh, it is a story to tell.
It is. It's an anecdote of the great, but in the same sense, it's like, what on earth was I thinking?
You did that.
Yeah.
Bow down to you, man.
And the feeling, it's like, it's all coming back to me now of that like absolute fear of going, I've now got to
get back into
and I've only done it like twice. But yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Starting tough. Yeah, I know. Your career was a breeze after
that was a bit mental.
You then did your West End debut in Kinky Boots at the Adelphi.
I did. It was absolute. I remember getting that phone call being like, oh my God, I'm going to be on the West End. This is insane. Couldn't believe it. However, I then get there, right? And everyone's got there. Everyone's been told like, do you know what wig you're wearing? It was like a big thing. And I was like, I don't know. How would I know what wig I'm wearing? What a strange question. And there's all these little whisperings going on. So I'm like, there must be like a dodgy wig that someone like, they're waiting to see who has to wear this wig.
It was you.
It was I. And it was a moulez-vous. a mullet. And when I tell ya, I actually couldn't believe it. I was like, I've made my West End debut.
Mullet.
And I've got to walk on that stage in a mullet. And they hated me, right? Because it's so bad. Never in a million years would I do this now. But I remember being like, I cannot. I cannot go on stage looking like this. It was so bad. And they like gelled the ends. So crispy and like crunchy. And they were so like thin. So I used to get my comb after they'd spent all that time prepping it. Was a wiggy's worst nightmare. Like I really was. And then I would like comb the gel out just to give it like a little bit of life and like style it myself. It was honestly, it was so fun. And I got over it very quickly.
Yeah.
But I remember a friend of mine, she also had to wear the wig one of the seasons before me, and she cried.
Honestly, though, it does affect you, doesn't
awful.
it?
You have to, like you're being seen in front of all these people. It's not the best, but I got over it, and then I took it in my stride.
And then you worked with it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that. It was you then.
yeah.
It was a
and
part
it was
of you.
It's my luck.
I just can't.
Honestly, crispy.
Kim Kardashian came to watch Back to the Future, right?
Oh my God.
I know, but I was friggin' mortified because I went out and did my first number as a 47-year-old lady in a fat suit, bags under my eyes. Kim was there. I was just like, kill me now, kill me now, kill me now.
But then you come on and look gorge.
Yeah, and I look young, but I thought, oh my gosh.
I know the feeling is terrible. It is like when you get given pull that short straw, you're like, oh, why me?
And then you went on to do Heathers.
I did.
Huge hype.
Original cast. So at that point, it was brand new. We had like crazy people in the cast. And that was, it was. And it was a very strange experience, I think, because we knew we were getting told by the director, this is a huge deal. This is a massive deal. Stage door's going to be crazy. Like, be on top of your social media. Like, we were getting all this stuff. And I was kind of like, God, really? And then I was so shocked. Like, stage door every night was
did blow up.
Yeah, massive. And you kind of like, it was a strange thing because you were put on this pedestal that you didn't really expect to be put on, and then you have like a different responsibility, and then all of a sudden things just switch and change, and you've just like social media goes bonkers, and I mean, I was Ensemble in that, and even for us, we all left that job with over like 10k followers from like a very few. So it was mad.
It reminded me of the Six Effect.
Definitely.
That type of like hardcore fan base.
Yeah.
You're actually our first Heathers girl.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of them now.
There's a
lot of people.
Now.
Yeah.
Did you love it? Are you glad you did it?
Oh yeah. I mean, like, it was amazing. And funnily enough, I was in for Six, the original cast, at the same time as the original cast for Heathers. And I got offered the first ever swing on Six. Yeah. But I didn't want to cover Six Girls because I didn't know anything about the show.
Yeah.
And I kind of had more of an idea of what was happening with Heathers. I knew I'd be covering the Heathers. I knew what it was and how many people, and something was just really daunting about the fact that it would only be me. And then obviously the right person for the job ended up doing it. Like, everything happens for a reason, for sure.
100%. And look, you went on to play Catherine of Aragon anyway.
Because I was like, look, I feel like this show is really right for me.
Yeah.
And I'd love to come back to it knowing that I could, because I know I could play a queen. So hopefully, I was like, it will happen for me. And if it doesn't, that's fine. But I've got to go with like my gut. And I kind of was trying to get out of swing, because I'd done swing once, kind of unintentionally, on Ghost, and was told like in rehearsal that is what was happening. So I was like, what? But again, brilliant experience. I'm so glad that I got to do it because I learned so much. But then I didn't really want to keep on that trajectory. I wanted to start being seen as a lead.
You've done really well in building your career really from the ground up. Swing, ensemble, cover, lead.
Yeah.
In like a traditional way in this industry, you are kind of the footprint that people want to achieve. You know?
I think there's a thing now that everyone wants to be, and I get it, a star straight away. And it's because that does happen for some people, and it's amazing if it does. I'm quite grateful now in hindsight, looking back at my career and my life, that didn't happen for me. I think, like, you know, you can find pros and cons with everything, but I think I personally learned a lot because I ended up being a dance captain, which I never saw being something that I would do in an original cast. And then first cover, then second cover, did swing. So I have an appreciation for all of it because I've done it.
Also, jumping and being a lead straight away is great, but the amount of knowledge you would have gained from being a swing, being on the ensemble, do you believe that all of that added up is the reason why you actually did make it to a lead?
I think so, because I've always been very driven and I've always known what it is I want, but it just wasn't the things I was getting in for. Actually, now when I look back, like Fantine in Les Mis, I was in for that for years prior, but I wasn't old enough.
Yeah, you weren't.
You know, like I wasn't experienced enough. Even Molly in Ghost, I wasn't old enough to play that part. I just left drama school.
Yeah.
But the types of things that I've been in for, it just wasn't the right time for me. But now, I do think that it has given me a real good understanding, and it's definitely been the best thing for me to have done all those things before getting into like leading parts.
And also it does give you that like fire of, I'm going to carry on pushing.
Yeah. And you know, sometimes I've got to be honest, I've been fortunate that it's never really been cold. I've always been busy and in shows. But then last year I did Lizzie, and that was mental.
You were Lizzie, weren't you?
Yeah. And I think then that was when I went, do you know what? I'm going to give myself a little break. And
I love that.
Yeah. And that's what I did, because I was like, I've basically been doing this for 10 years and I've not... And
Can you tell?
I've been doing it for about 10 years and I've not really had a break. So like, who am I outside of the job?
Oh my gosh, Lauren, I'm going through this right now.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are, and no one's really talking about it. But I kind of just went quiet and I just made a decision, and I was like, I need time.
Yes.
To myself and reboot. And now I'm ready.
But you know what? I feel like you have to be so brave to be like, I'm going to prioritize myself.
Yeah.
Because I feel like people are like, I need to go from one job to the next, otherwise I'm not successful.
Yeah, and it's so unhealthy.
It is.
Yeah.
My agent literally called me about a month ago and we were talking about what's going to happen after Vivian Wood, and I said, for the first time ever, I want a break.
And you should take it.
But it took everything in my being to prioritize myself and be like, no, it's going to be for the better.
Yeah. And I think there's a thing, especially now with the way like social media is and whatever, we always want to be like relevant and like being seen to be busy and doing something because you're worried that like people will forget you. They won't.
God,
like,
no.
There is strength in saying no, and there's power in not being accessible, because then people want to know what's going on and what you're up to, and then your next venture, people are excited about it because you haven't been seen for a while. You know, there is
She's
also
back.
There's strength in that. Like, and I just had to go, I have to reboot, because I am like,
imagine having dinner at 7:30 of an evening.
It's been delightful. Honestly, let me tell you, my evenings, I'm like, oh my God, I forgot what it was like.
I know.
Really lovely. And again, I'm very grateful that I've been in the position to feel like I need to do that. Like I need a break. And I don't, I'm not ignoring that is definitely something to be grateful for, but I'm also saying it is very hard because it's a sacrifice, and it's a sacrifice I've always been very willing to make. But my social life was kind of non-existent for a long time.
Babe, I'm with you.
And I'm a very social person. So like it is part of my identity.
Yeah.
And it's tough when you don't get to do that.
So be driven, be motivated, don't lose yourself in the process.
Definitely.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Okay, I saw you in this next one.
What's that?
Legally Blonde. You won the WhatsOnStage Award for Best Supporting Performer. I was there when you received that award.
Oh my God.
I thought your speech was absolutely amazing.
Oh, thank you.
If anybody saw Lauren do this role, I think you were a bit like me. I was jaw on the floor thinking, machine.
Oh my God. Honestly.
Did you train?
I did the audition. I was really confused at the thing because I did the audition and I knew I was like, I want this part. And Ellen Kane, Lucy Moss, like I knew I didn't know Ellen Kane at the time actually, but I really wanted her to think I was good. Like I really wanted her to think I was good. So in my audition, I was like, how do I like do this song? Because it's not a singy song. It's like, you know, whipped into shape. It's more about the action.
Yeah.
But obviously in the audition, I only had the song. So I was like, right, I'm going to do something different. So I did like a full cardio routine as I performed the song. And I was like, maybe, so I just want them to see I've got the stamina. Booked the job, which was amazing. And then I was like, oh, maybe it's not a skipping number because we haven't done any skipping rope stuff in the audition. So I messaged Lucy Moss and I was like, so I'm assuming it's like going to be a different take. And she was like, no, it's going to be full out skipping. I was like, right. So I haven't picked up a skipping rope since I was 8 or something. So I bought a rope from Amazon and I was in my flat, the top floor going boom, 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 like no technique whatsoever, not having a clue what I was doing. And then I was basically learning from my TikTok and YouTube.
Can I just tell you, I'll give you some context of what she did. How long's the number?
God, that's a good question. It feels like a lifetime.
I would say
when
it
you're
was
doing
probably about a 4-minute
probably
number.
Probably about 4 minutes.
This bish skipped, full on belting her tits off, full on giving, you know, vocal clarity, you know, on the notes and skipping at the same time. It was like I was watching Beyonce do Homecoming Live at Coachella all over again. The stamina was literally on another level. 8 shows a week.
And honestly, even you saying it out loud, like I genuinely don't know
how you did it,
how that happened. I kind of just went like, I surrendered to the process. I was kind of like, okay, I'm just going to give everything I've got and I'm going to try and impress Ellen Kane. She said to me, she went, okay, so it's going to be a skipping number. I was like, right, I've got that. But we're going to wrap a double Dutch rope around your waist. And I was like, right. And then after the first verse, you're going to unravel in a count of 4, right? Joe and Liam were unwrapping me. And then you're going to start skipping. They're going to be in control of the rope. And then we're going to go double time. Full out vocal. And I was just going, goodbye, kneecaps. See you later. Like, not a shin left to my name. Physio.
That speed dial.
Literally, me and that physio were besties. I was in there regularly, like a few times a week, because my shins were just going.
I'm not surprised.
But it was the most like rewarding experience. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And it was, to have won a WhatsOnStage Award for that, which hilariously wasn't expecting, so hadn't prepared a speech.
But it was deserved,
and
you know.
I'm so glad that it was acknowledged, because it was something that I just like gave my whole self to. And I was like,
see that. And do you know what? It was so interesting, because I went to watch Legally Blonde for their press night, and we were in Regent's Park, open air theatre. And there was just something after your number, there was like it was like everybody was on the edge of their seats, because they actually, like, I've got goosebumps just thinking about it now, that it was like a little bit superhuman what you'd just given us, and you gave us it all, and it was just like outstanding.
Thank you so much. Honestly, if you asked me to do that now, I think death would be coming for me.
It would be a no.
It was an amazing experience. Like I loved and the people were just amazing. Like such a great experience. Loved it.
I love that. Now, I just want to quickly, because I haven't got much left of you. You were a semi-finalist on The Voice.
Oh, I was, yes.
I have to bring that up.
Yeah.
As a reality TV babe.
Yeah.
I mean, a bit different. You went on for your talent. I went on for my
No, I won't have that. I mean, she's stunning, to be fair.
You were a semi-finalist. Let me just tell you guys what happened. You went on, you did Mama Knows Best, Jessie J.
Yes.
You got 4 yeses.
I did.
You're with Anne-Marie, and then Will.i.am stole you.
Yeah, it was a really weird experience because it was all through COVID, so there was no audience there.
Okay.
We kind of had to get ourselves hair and camera ready, which is not my thing. I am very much like it's straight or there's a curl or like there's a mascara. There's nothing. Like I'm not that way inclined.
Yeah.
So I was frying out about the fact that I had to go on TV with my own abilities of like non-existent abilities. Yeah. So it was a brilliant experience and I'm very glad that I did it. And the only reason I actually ended up doing it, which I don't think anyone really knows, is I got a phone call from my agent during COVID saying that she'd had a phone call from people at The Voice. And I was like, right. And I'd always said no whenever this had happened. And she was like, at the time, she was like, I actually think it'd be a good idea because there's nothing going on. Mm-hmm. It's a creative kind of outlet and everyone's watching the TV. And I was like, I guess that's a good way of looking at it. I said, okay, well, I'll give it a go, see what happens. I kept very stern with them because I think there is this thing of like, we want you to sing what we want you to sing. And
they like to create a narrative.
Yeah, which wasn't the route of which I wanted to take. I was like, I'm very much going on there to sing. And there were questions, you know, about my life, which I was just like, you know, it just wasn't.
You wanted an authentic
Of course,
experience.
That's all it was about for me. Like I wasn't at all there to win it. I just wanted to sing on the TV because it was the right time. And then it just went further than I kind of thought it would because it was the first 4-chair turn of the series. So there was a lot of hype around it and it was COVID. Everyone was watching the TV. So everyone in the industry was watching the TV and the support was amazing. I honestly couldn't get over it. It was so lovely. But yeah, again, it was nothing but positive. So I'm glad that I did it.
And I feel like as well, when you experience things like that, you build up a tolerance, don't you? You get thick skin.
Yeah.
I definitely think you were meant to do that for a reason.
I think so.
Especially confidence. Like you're oozing with confidence anyway, but those moments when you're in those like, not backed into a corner, but okay, I'm on primetime television here. I need to be the best version of myself. That's what's so scary
because you're like, they tell you, they're like, you messed it up, that's just the way it is. And you're like, right, okay.
You have to have confidence in yourself.
Yeah, and you know, that does start to dwindle when you've been there for like 10 hours camera ready in a little waterproof poncho to not get any food on you and aircon room and you've just decided to scream this note. Yeah. And I'm like, what? Like...
So in hindsight, you're so glad you did it.
Oh yeah, really glad. I don't think it was at all a negative experience and I never would have done it had it not been for the circumstances of like COVID and whatever, for sure. Yeah,
and I think people don't know as well that a lot of these primetime television shows, they reach out to you. It's very rare that they'll have open auditions and they find someone just from the street, you know, but I think that's common knowledge now,
yeah, well, I was kind of confused when my agent called me. I was like, what? Like, did you put me forward for it? Like, what's going on here? But they scout people through agent books and stuff.
Yeah. And my final question for you, you've been amazing.
Go on.
What is your career highlight so far?
Oh my God, there are a few.
One that will stay with you forever.
Oh, God. I think one of the most amazing things was singing I Dreamed a Dream with the orchestra for the first time and then getting to perform as Fantine for Claude-Michel Schönberg. That was really like surreal. I was like, I can't believe this is my life.
Like a pinch me moment.
Yeah. I just thought, God, I've done this amateur dramatics version.
And now I'm here.
Yeah, like what? In front of Claude-Michel Schönberg. Like, and he was so lovely afterwards and so complimentary. And I was just like, it was like an out of body experience. It was wild. The fact that that's the first thing that came into my mind is like,
shows.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many with Six and Lizzie even. Like when I did Lizzie, that was pretty amazing. But I think highlight was... It's got to be that moment for me.
I love that. Well, thank you so much. You've been amazing.
Much. Oh, thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening.
See you.